Good morning to all the students who are there in the session. I'll wait for 30 seconds so that all the relevant students can join who are coming to the session so that they can join us. I'll wait for some 30-40 seconds. So the theme of the session is that we are doing GS3 questions, but in this session I also want to address any kind of doubt that you are having when it comes to your mains preparation. If there is any doubt regarding mains preparation, you can ask in this session. So let's now start with today's session. In today's session, we are dealing with a question of internal security, and a very important question. Why? Because this question is repetitively asked. Good morning, Bulbul. Because this question is repetitively asked in the PYQs. Okay, and that is why we need to form certain frameworks when it comes to these kind of questions which are repetitively asked in one form or the other. Okay. Good morning, Ashish. Almost 30 to 40% of the questions that will be coming in your mains paper, even in GS3, they will be predicted. There will be a question on cybersecurity. There will be question on Naxalism. There will be question on border security. There will be question on cropping pattern. There will be question on infrastructure. There will be question on employment. We need to create structures and frameworks to address these kind of answers. We can even prepare as it is introduction and conclusion that we will use in these kind of questions. Good morning, Anirudh. Good morning to everyone. So let's read the question first. Analyze the challenges and the issues faced by India in its geography, and that unique geography poses certain challenges and issues for our country. This is what the question is about, and we are asked to analyze it. Okay, we are asked to analyze the topic. Then they are asking, discuss the impact of hostile neighbors and geographical diversity of terrains on the security dynamics of the region. So first we have to discuss about the challenges and the issues because on the diverse border areas. Then we have to tell that how the hostile neighborhood that India is in. What do we mean? That we have certain kind of neighbors that are not going for very neighborly relations with us. What are the kind of impact that is creating, and the geographical diversity also. We will see what do we mean by that. When it comes to the security dynamics of the region, specifically to the security dynamics. So the theme is border security. The theme is border security and how the different hostile neighbors, how the diversity of the geography in that region is playing a role. Okay. Now, what we do in these sessions are that we first try to, students come with these kind of doubts. That's how to make different parts of the answer. We are not able to get clarity on that. So let's first see that what are the parts. We will make an introduction. Then very clear cut, we will have to tell that India and its diverse border area and what are the challenges and issues. So we will tell the challenges and the issues. Then we have to discuss the impact of hostile neighborhood. on the security. And then we have to tell that how diverse geography is also playing an impact on the security. Now, these three parts, Ashish is asking that how can we start the security answer writing and which book is good for best for security. See, Ashish, the thing is that the challenge of mains answer writing is that you have almost 200 topics in front of you. Okay, and you cannot end up reading book for every topic. So my humble suggestion would be, and I'm not really selling anything, my humble suggestion would be stick to any one source. Okay, जो भी आपका अभी source है for your GS3, stick to that. If you have not picked up any one of the source, what you can do is that you can pick up our GS3 booklet. ठीक है, this booklet, it might look thick to you, but it is actually covering all the aspects of GS3, and we have divided the whole syllabus in, actually we have divided the whole GS3 in the syllabus wise format, that you can, if you want to read internal security, if you want to read cyber security, we have given you 5 pages, just read that. Okay, so if you have not picked up any source, stick to the source which you are reading. But अगर आपने अभी कोई सोर्स नहीं पिक किया है, तो आप ये हमारी शून्य आईएएस की जो जीएस की बुकलेट है ये जरूर लें. बहुत ही क्रिस्प कंपाइलेशन है, डेटा, फैक्ट, एनालिसिस सब एक साथ दिया हुआ है हमने. डू चेक इट आउट. ओके, सो these three are the explicit points that are demanded in the question. These three are the explicit points. But do you think that we also have to tell certain way forward, that how India is trying to tackle the issues? The answer would be yes. While we are trying to give a conclusion, we can also create it in a mini way forward, where we tell that how India should tackle with these kind of problems. Okay, so this is going to be the larger structure of the question, and this is also going to be the flow of the answer. So now let's see that how we can introduce the question. Question is on border security. ठीक है, question is on border security and border areas and how hostile neighborhood is there. Then what you can do is that you can show that how there is rise of conflicts across the globe at the border areas. Why? We are seeing that how Russia-Ukraine war, Israel-Palestine war, all of this is because of the dynamics which are being played at the border area. The Nagorno-Karabakh conflict, है ना, इस तरह के एग्जाम्पल दे सकते हैं आप, that how if borders are not well managed, then what kind of issue can get created. Israel-Palestine issue, Nagorno-Karabakh region, this war is also important. Why? Question in prelims were asked about this conflict. So we can tell that how if border areas are not well managed, these kind of conflicts can emerge, which can lead to issues. Then you can tell that how India has fought 47-48 war, the 62 war, the 65 war, the 71 war. So you can give this kind of brief, that how the 47 war with Pakistan, 62 war with China, 65 with Pakistan, 71 the border of Bangladesh was created, Kargil war, how all these conflicts are essentially because of the dynamics which are being played because of the hostile neighborhood and the turmoil at the border areas. This is one of the ways you can give. Then what is other way? You can tell about India, and then you can tell that what is a territorial boundary and what is a coastal boundary? You can tell that how India is bordering this many countries. India is bordering Nepal, India is bordering Bangladesh, Bhutan, China, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Myanmar. Okay, you can show that how India has both territorial as well as maritime borders, because in this way you can establish in the question that you have got the question in its entirety, है ना? We do not have just territorial neighborhood, we have a maritime neighborhood also. Yogesh is saying good morning Yogesh. So in this way you can lay down a framework for your answer, है ना? अगर आपको थोड़ा और भी कुछ एक्स्ट्रा देना है ना, देन आप क्या कर सकते हैं? यू कैन टेल दैट हाउ नेशनल सिक्योरिटी इज इम्पोर्टेंट, हाउ बॉर्डर सिक्योरिटी इज इम्पोर्टेंट. व्हाई? बिकॉज द 26/11 attacks, the 26/11 attacks, they happened not because that we were not having enough security at the territorial area, but because there was a lapse when it come to the coastal border areas. We were not having proper surveillance mechanism there, which led to this kind of security lapse, and that is why it is important for the country. Okay, this is the kind of introduction that you can give. Now let's see how we can start with the first part, which is India and diverse areas, challenges and issues. So I have shared with you a framework yesterday, I think day before yesterday, where I have shared with you that how to generate points. The points can be generated in a simple way. You just imagine or draw the map of India in your mind. Okay, this is the framework of the map. I know it is not precise, but you can use this to generate the points. That is enough. So what are the challenges? What are the challenges India is facing at its border areas? When it comes to the maritime area, let's first look at the maritime area, at the coastal borders. We are seeing that how piracy is rising. Why is piracy rising? What is piracy? That when our ships are passing through, we are seeing that how when our ships are passing through different kind of straits like Bab el Mandab Strait, like the near the area of Hormuz, है ना? We are seeing that how in these areas there are some kind of different thieves, different organized crimes is happening where they can loot our ships. This is called piracy. That how piracy is increasing in the border area, especially in the Indian Ocean region. If you will see, I am not drawing the map here. अगर आप अफ्रीका को इमेजिन करेंगे यहाँ पे, तो there is a small Mozambique channel. Mozambique channel is here in the south of India. Okay, so Mozambique channel is very infamous rather, for the issue of piracy in that region. So how piracy is rising? Okay, then what are the other issues when it comes to the border areas in the maritime domain? That how there is a security competition going on where China is trying to create its string of pearl. What do we see? That Sri Lanka is here in the south, okay, and a small island which was insignificant, but it was acquired by China, the port of Hambantota. Okay, so China is creating its string of pearl through which they are trying to encircle, they are trying to go for the strategy of containment against India. So even that is a challenge. Then the other challenge that is similar to this is that how China is sending China is sending its surveillance vessel. Okay, they are trying to send its surveillance vessels, which was actually ported in Sri Lanka, and even that has security implications. Okay, then other thing is how there are tanker wars. What are tanker wars? We are seeing that how conflicts are rising within the Middle East. There is the conflict of Iran versus Saudi. There is the conflict of different kind of rebels which belong to the Iran's gang, which are like Hamas, like Houthis, which are attacking the ships which are passing through the different straits. We are seeing recently that how from Yemen different rockets were hit that that were striking at the kind of goods which are passing there in the ships. So that is also an issue. The tanker wars are happening. Okay. Then the issue of refugees. The issue of refugees, we see that how whenever there is a conflict in Sri Lanka, there is very high probability that people will try to become refugees in the southern states. So that can create a security dimension. Got it? What is the other implication? We are seeing that how there are lot of different kind of minerals, different kind of rare earth minerals that are present in the deep sea. So how there is a mineral security competition also. Because China is again trying to claim those minerals. Okay. So these are some of the dimensions when it just come to the maritime area, maritime border areas. Now let's come to one region at a time. Okay. What are we seeing in Gujarat? What are we seeing in Gujarat? That different drug smuggling is happening. Okay. Then we know that how even in the last class I was discussing that how there are different major ports in this region, including Mundra port, and how drug consignments are coming from Pakistan, from Afghanistan via Dubai route, right? So that is an issue. Then if we come to the border area of Pakistan, यहाँ पर तो हम सबको ही पता है क्या क्या challenges हो रहे हैं. The first one is that there is a proxy warfare. What is proxy warfare? Proxy warfare means that Pakistan cannot wage a direct war against India, and that is why they are training different small terrorist groups to wage a proxy warfare, to wage a decentralized warfare against India. Okay. Then because of this, there is also an insurgency. There is also an insurgency in Jammu Kashmir. Even that is funded by Pakistan. Then they are also trying to use drones or unmanned air vehicles, UAVs. They are using UAVs to deliver drugs, to deliver arms, and even to deliver counterfeit currency. Okay. So they are using drones. They are using drones to attack us. They can deliver shells, arms, ammunitions. They can deliver drugs. They can deliver counterfeit currency. All of them through these unarmed air vehicles. This is a very, very important topic, unarmed vehicles, unmanned air vehicles. Why? Even a specific question was asked on unmanned air vehicles in GS3 paper in the 2023 mains. A dedicated question was asked. So it is very important. Then what is the other challenge that we are facing from Pakistan side? We have discussed about currency, drugs, the terrorism, the insurgency. Then there is also shelling. We keep on exchanging in cross firing. So ultimately, all of this is leading to security issues. Then let's come to the China. So China is bordering us in these areas of Aksai Chin and Arunachal Pradesh. What are the challenges we are getting from China? China is trying to apply the approach of salami slicing. Salami slicing. What is salami slicing? That they try to grab the land of their neighbors in a very slow and gradual manner. Just like if you are a non-vegetarian, you will know that there is a steak, एक पूरा का पूरा meat का piece होगा, and salamis are very thin and small pieces of meat which are cut from the steak. Okay, so how, just like those thin pieces of salami are cut, even China is slicing the territories of the neighbor just like salami. Okay, so they are doing very small land grabs. So that is an issue. We are seeing that how there are land incursions, the Galwan attack, the Doklam attack. Okay, then there are different regions in this area, the Depsang plains. Okay, अगर आप मैप पे ये सब शो करेंगे, जैसे मैप पे आप बता सकते हैं कि कैसे यहाँ पे आपका गालवान वैली इशू हुआ, कैसे यहाँ पे आपका डोकलाम इशू हुआ, तो हाउ देयर इज लैंड ग्रैब्स. ओके, then the other issue, the other challenge that we are facing in our border areas is the issue of ghost villages. The issue of ghost villages. What are ghost villages? So what is happening is that China is not letting India develop infrastructure in the border areas, and because of that people are running away from the border villages. So the villages have been emptied. Even on the Indian side, suppose there is a village, 200 people are living there, because there are no facilities in this area. Why there are no facilities? Whenever India tries to develop any kind of infrastructure, China is saying that this is a disputed territory and you cannot do it. Otherwise, we will do this and that. So how there is issue of ghost villages. Then what is the other important issue when it comes to the border areas? That how China is also weaponizing. China is also weaponizing the Brahmaputra river. That China is creating a lot of dams when it comes to the Brahmaputra. It is called Sangpo in the China. So they are developing very big dams. Now what is happening is that they are not sharing the hydro data. They are not sharing the data of the river, the flow of the water in that river. Because of that, there can be issues of instant floods in Assam, in Arunachal Pradesh. There can be issue of landslides also. So basically they are trying to weaponize the river also. Okay. So this is when it comes to the China. Then we see that there is Nepal. What is the issue with Nepal? That we have a porous border when it comes to the Nepal. As such, there is not even need of any kind of visa. So what is happening is that because of this, we are seeing that how there is also a lot of issues when it comes to that. We see that whenever there is some fugitive who is trying to run from India, they go away to Nepal. And from Nepal, they try to take a way route to Pakistan through a flight or through China. So how that is an issue. Then the new issue is also regarding the Kala Pani issue. Kala Pani issue. That there is no coherency when it comes to the views, when it comes to the borders. है ना, Kala Pani issue is there. So this is the issue with Nepal. Then if we come to Bhutan, भूटान के साथ हमारा कुछ उतना इशू नहीं है. भूटान के साथ हमारे काफी फ्रेंडली रिलेशंस हैं. Let's come to Myanmar. What are we seeing in Myanmar? That lot of drug trafficking is happening. There is also, whenever there are insurgency in the region of northeast, then they go back to the Myanmar. So how they are getting safe havens? How they are getting safe havens? Then other issue is that because ethnicity of people in this region and the northeast is having some kind of similarities, then there are also ethnic conflicts, right? So these are some of the challenges. Then obviously we saw that how there was Rohingya issue, how the Rohingyas from the Rakhine state of Myanmar, they were getting entry into India through the northeastern states. How because of the Janta rule in Myanmar, we see that lot of activists who are getting expelled from their country, they are again entering India. Ashu is telling drugs issue, debt trap. Yes, we can include that. Kashish Kaushal is saying, can we write about how the rebel in the Red Sea and disrupt the? Yes, absolutely. You see, again, whenever it comes to the border areas, we have to look in a larger manner. We do not have to just restrict our answer to Pakistan, China, Nepal, and all that. We have to look at the maritime issues also. Okay. Golden Crescent and Golden Triangle areas. Yes, Kashish, absolutely. You will do that. So these are the different challenges when it comes to the border areas. Okay, I hope this is clear. Now let's look at some of the ways in which how you can present it. So this is one of the copies. Let's see what they have done. Firstly, they have drawn a very decent map. So very important part is that we usually miss out on Afghanistan as our border. Do not do that. We have a very small, narrow land which is connecting India to the Afghanistan, though that we are not able to access it because Pakistan is illegally occupying that region. That's why it's called Pakistan occupied Kashmir, POK. But indeed that is part of the India. So do show that whenever you are showing the neighbors. Okay. Then there is China, there is Nepal, there is Bhutan, then there is Myanmar, Bangladesh. हमने आई थिंक बांग्लादेश को कवर नहीं करा था हमारे एनालिसिस में. Bangladesh will be there. Illegal immigrants are coming. Okay. Mostly that is the issue when it comes to Bangladesh. Sri Lanka, Maldives. So the map is pretty clear and good. And the neighbors are clearly mentioned. Now let's see what are the challenges. Porous border. In Nepal, Bangladesh and Myanmar, due to the porous border, infiltration and people movement takes place. Entry of Rohingyas into West Bengal. About the ghost villages. Okay. The issue of ghost villages. We will address that part in the later section of our answer. But just so that we don't forget about it, what is Government of India doing regarding ghost villages? If someone can tell in the comment section. India has come up with Vibrant Village program. We are developing facilities at the border areas to enhance the infrastructure at the border areas so that we can settle our population in those border areas and so that the enemy or the hostile neighbor cannot claim that land. Okay. So Vibrant Village program, this is very, very important scheme of the Government of India. Then terrorism insurgency issues. On Kashmir issue, Pakistan frequently state sponsors terrorism and infiltration activities, supply of drugs through drones from Pakistan to Punjab region. Very, very good point. Example is also given that we discussed that how the drones are used, the unmanned air vehicles are being used to perpetuate the organized crime. Okay. What I want you to notice in this answer is that how there is a clear-cut presentation. See, by presentation, we do not mean very beautiful answer, very beautiful writing, which you will write at a very slow pace in some answer writing competition. No. By presentation, we means that only if you give just one look to the answer, you will know that इन्होंने सब कुछ लिखा हुआ है. How and why we can see that? there is clear border after the map. Okay, then there are clear cut headings, subheadings. Then whenever the candidate is using examples, they are using this kind of example structure. So after one point, anyone who is checking your copy, they have to check 50 pages in your copy. और होता क्या है यार, देखो, even we are evaluating a lot of copies, almost 400-500 copies that are coming to us. 50 पेज जब चेक करने होंगे ना, and I'm sharing this with you that, see, whenever your copy will not be evaluated properly and all that, you can come to us and we can always recheck it. We can always reassess. But that will not happen in the final exam. And students come to us that they have written very good answers, but still they are not able to get the marks. What is the reason for it? Presentation is one of the important part. Why? See, we all know that we are living in an era of social media. And there is a concept in psychology called attention span. अभी क्या होता है, इसका एक एग्जांपल देता हूं आपको. अभी हम लोग रोज लाइव लेक्चर्स करते हैं यहाँ पर, और होता क्या है कि जब मंथ स्टार्ट होता है तो मैक्सिमम लोग आते हैं, 20 लोग, 25 लोग, 50 लोग आते हैं. अभी जैसे जैसे सेशन आगे एंड की तरफ जाता है, मंथ के एंड में जाता है, वी आर सीइंग दैट हाउ 10-15 पीपल आर कमिंग. व्हाई? बिकॉज पीपल हैव अ वेरी पुअर अटेंशन स्पैन दीज डेज. सेम इज द इशू with the examiner also. Out of these 50 pages, his or her attention will be maximum 100% attention will be there whenever the examiner will open the copy. Okay, so we have to ensure that we grab the attention. ये शुरू के 10 से 15 पेजेस मैक्सिमम अटेंशन के साथ पढ़ेंगे. और अगर इन 10 से 15 पेजेस का क्या मतलब हुआ कि शुरू के 5 से 6 क्वेश्चन बहुत अच्छे लिखने हैं. वहां पे अपने आंसर का प्रेजेंटेशन सेट कर देना है, और उस प्रेजेंटेशन फॉर्मेट को पूरे पेपर में कंटिन्यू करना है. व्हाट डू वी मीन बाय प्रेजेंटेशन का फॉर्मेट, अभी मैं बता दूंगा आपको. सो कैसे वो जो प्रेजेंटेशन आपने शुरू में सेट किया है, अब क्या होगा एग्जामिनर के साथ कि बाकी के 20 पेजेस वो पढ़ेंगे 50% अटेंशन के साथ, और फिर एंड के जो कुछ 10-15 पेजेस बचे होंगे ये वो पढ़ेंगे 10 से 20% अटेंशन के साथ. नो वन विल टेल यू दिस, बिकॉज दिस इज नॉट, आप इसके लिए थोड़ी आए हैं कि कैसे एग्जामिनर कॉपी चेक कर रहा है. बट द मेथड टू क्लियर दिस एग्जाम इज टू डू रिवर्स इंजीनियरिंग. ओके, आई एम एन इंजीनियरिंग स्टूडेंट एंड आई बिलीव इन रिवर्स इंजीनियरिंग एट, मतलब प्योरली यही काम करती है. तो जब आप ये साइकोलॉजी समझ जाएंगे ना कि कैसे आपको शुरू में ही अपनी कॉपी का एजेंडा सेट करना है, आपको शुरू में ही अपनी कॉपी की प्रेजेंटेशन दिखानी है, तो शुरू के 5-6 क्वेश्चंस एकदम वेल फॉर्मेट में लिखने हैं, ताकि जब तक एग्जामिनर यहां पहुंचे द एग्जामिनर ऑलरेडी नोज कि कहां पे क्या मिलेगा मुझे. अगर एग्जाम्पल चाहिए तो वो किस फॉर्मेट में मिलेगा. ओके, एंड दैट इज वाई वी आर शोइंग दीज बेस्ट कॉपीज ऑफ प्रेजेंटेशन. चलिए अब वापस आ जाते हैं. सो इस कॉपी में प्रेजेंटेशन क्या है कि सब हेडिंग्स बॉक्स में डली हुई हैं, एग्जाम्पल को सर्कल किया हुआ है, ऑल द कीवर्ड्स आर अंडरलाइंड. इस आंसर को देख के पलटा भी जा सकता है कि लिखा हुआ है. हाँ चलिए ठीक है, बढ़िया है. ओके, तो ये सब भी हमें करना है. देन व्हाट आर द चैलेंजेस? माइग्रेशन, रेफ्यूजी क्राइसिस. वी शेयर्ड दैट हाउ द माइग्रेशन इशू इज ऑल्सो इमर्जिंग इन द कोस्टल रीजन, राइट? Especially from Jaffna region of Sri Lanka. Very, very good. See, this is, there is a difference. There is a difference between show off and there is a difference between well informed opinion. अब जैसे ही इन्होंने यहाँ पे लिख दिया जाफना रीजन से आ रहे हैं, है ना, या फिर अगर आप रोहिंग्या की बात कर रहे हैं तो रोहिंग्या हर कोई बता रहा है कि रोहिंग्या इशू है, बट यू कैन टेल दैट हाउ रोहिंग्याज आर कमिंग फ्रॉम द रखाइन स्टेट इन म्यांमार. हाउ when it comes to the Sri Lanka there is issue from the Jaffna region. होता क्या है कि अब मैंने जाफना रीजन कभी कहीं पढ़ा था, अब मैंने ये चीज अभी कॉपी में देखी कि जाफना रीजन लिखा है इन्होंने, मतलब पढ़ के तो आए हैं, ठीक है. Tamil Nadu of India, and also Rohingyas from the Myanmar take refuge in Assam and West Bengal. Very good point. Smuggling of goods and other drugs. Smuggling का issue हम कहाँ देख रहे हैं? Smuggling का हम issue देख रहे हैं नेपाल के through. We were talking about Bhutan. One of the issues with Bhutan is that how lot of smuggling is happening in different exotic species. These are very geographically diverse regions. Flora और fauna बहुत unique है. So we see that exotic species का smuggling है, even Bhutan के साथ. Okay, so keep that in mind. Smuggling of goods and other drugs, contested international borders. What are the example? Recent standoff in LAC in India-China border. अब यहां पे आप लिखिए, यहां पे एग्जाम्पल नहीं दिया इन्होंने. गालवान वैली क्लैश, डोकलाम क्लैश, डेप्सांग प्लेन्स क्लैश, ओपीएम स्मगलिंग फ्रॉम थाईलैंड, म्यांमार, लाओस रीजन, गोल्डन ट्राइंगल, एंड स्मगलिंग फ्रॉम ईरान, पाकिस्तान, अफगानिस्तान, गोल्डन क्रेसेंट. ओवरऑल इनकी कॉपी पढ़ के यही दिख रहा है दैट, जिनकी भी ये कॉपी है अगर कमेंट सेक्शन में जरूर बताइएगा, दैट बहुत अच्छे से प्रिपेयर किया हुआ है टॉपिक को. डेप्थ में अंडरस्टैंडिंग है, एग्जाम्पल्स हैं, कीवर्ड्स हैं, एवरीथिंग इज देयर, एंड प्रेजेंटेशन इज ऑल्सो वेरी गुड. ओके, यहां पे भी प्रेजेंटेशन इज वेरी सिस्टमैटिक. डायग्राम इज नॉट देयर, बट एक बार देख लेते हैं. सो दे हैव डिवाइडेड द पॉइंट्स इन मेजर सेक्टर्स फर्स्ट. सिक्योरिटी चैलेंजेस, socio-economic challenges, and geopolitical challenges. Even this is a good format. You can divide your answer in larger subparts. Okay? अंदर क्या क्या पॉइंट्स दिए? कंटेस्टेड बॉर्डर्स, एग्जाम्पल दे दिया पाकिस्तान का, एलएसी का. देन पोरस बॉर्डर्स आर देयर, ट्रांसनेशनल थ्रेट्स आर देयर, इंसर्जेंसी, आर्म्स स्मगल, ड्रग स्मगल, क्रॉस बॉर्डर टेररिज्म. पोरस बॉर्डर में बांग्लादेश, नेपाल का एग्जाम्पल. कोस्टल सिक्योरिटी में पायरेसी, मेरीटाइम टेररिज्म, इलीगल फिशिंग. ओवरऑल द एग्जाम्पल्स आर गुड. सोशो इकोनॉमिक के अंदर अंडर डेवलपमेंट दिखा दिया, रिसोर्स कन्फ्लिक्ट है, कल्चरल सेंसिटिविटीज, एंड एग्जाम्पल्स आर ऑल्सो देयर. जियोपॉलिटिकल, चाइना के साथ जियोपॉलिटिकल लैंडस्केप, चाइनाज BRI, वेरी गुड पॉइंट. हाउ दे आर यूजिंग चाइनाज BRI, हाउ चाइनाज BRI इज थ्रेटनिंग India's CPEC. Okay, global issues में climate change, human right trafficking, melting glaciers. This is very unique point. How the melting of glaciers is also playing a role when it comes to the water availability. देश, China and India, Nepal and India. Okay. Now let's see the other part, which is what is the role of hostile neighborhood. Hostile neighborhood का आप कैसे बताएंगे? Hostile neighborhood में स्पेसिफिकली आपको बताना पड़ेगा पाकिस्तान के बारे में, अफगानिस्तान के बारे में, चाइना के बारे में, एंड म्यांमार के बारे में. बिकॉज भूटान इज नॉट हॉस्टाइल टू अस, नाइदर इज बांग्लादेश. तो उन कंट्रीज के बारे में स्पेसिफिकली बताना है हमें. हॉस्टाइल नेबरहुड, पाकिस्तान कैसे है? वी हैव डिस्कस्ड ऑल ऑफ इट, बट जस्ट टू टेल इट अगेन. प्रॉक्सी वॉरफेयर, ड्रग्स, आर्म्स स्मगलिंग, human trafficking. When it comes to the China, we are also facing cyber attacks. So there are certain claims that the Bombay power outage, the Mumbai power outage, there were cyber attacks on the power grids in Bombay. It is claimed that these kind of attacks came from China. Okay. What are other issues when it comes to the hostile neighborhood? Land grabs. land grabs, salami slicing, we have discussed. Then how they are also doing dumping of their goods. They are doing cheap dumping of their goods in India. Even that is an issue. म्यांमार, ये हमने डिस्कस कर लिया था. मतलब अलग से हमें प्रेजेंटेशन में थोड़ा दिखाना पड़ेगा, बट पॉइंट्स सब डिस्कस कर लिए हमने. देन अफगानिस्तान, हाउ there is Taliban rule in Afghanistan now. How there are different geopolitical conflicts. For example, there is rise of violence, there is rise of terrorism. How we can see, we are seeing that even a new terrorist group called ISIL, Islamic State of Levant का उनका एक chapter शुरू हुआ है अफगानिस्तान में. They are doing violence. So how that can have repercussions? How that can have repercussions for Jammu and Kashmir region, which is very sensitive when it comes to the different kind of ethnic and insurgency and conflicts are there in Jammu Kashmir. So ये सब points आप hostile neighborhood में बताएंगे. Then diverse geography. Diverse geography में आपको again country wise ही देखना पड़ेगा. Actually geographical region wise देख लीजिए कि पहला तो maritime हो गया. Then how when it comes to Pakistan, then there are deserts. जब आप जैसलमेर साइड पे जाएंगे वहां पूरा डेजर्ट है ना. अब what can happen in those deserts? That they can make mines. They can make mines out of those deserts. Illegal mines they can make, through which they can do transportation of people. Then there are mountainous regions, the whole Jammu and Kashmir. There are also certain riverine region where there are rivers and it is difficult to make a land border, to make a brick and mortar border there in the riverine regions. Then there are also estuaries. We see that how there are certain regions like the Sir Creek in the Gujarat, that. So there are certain estuaries also at the when it comes to the diverse terrain. Then in China's border, we see that how it is mostly mountainous regions. Now, what is the kind of challenge that we see because of that kind of territory? That whenever there is also a war, then how there are issues when it comes to the acclimatization of the forces, that remains a very issue. So how high altitude territories, this kind of issue of high altitude mountain warfare, this is there when it comes to both China and Pakistan. Okay, high altitude mountain warfare. Then we have Bangladesh. बांग्लादेश में क्या इशू है कि मोस्टली पूरा बॉर्डर रिवराइन है, बहुत ज्यादा रिवर्स, मार्शेस, वेटलैंड्स, इन सब पर ही है बॉर्डर. तो इट इज वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू चेक इट. देन म्यांमार, यहां पर जो हमारा बॉर्डर है ये बहुत ज्यादा फॉरेस्ट्स हैं, यहां पर वेरी वेरी डीप एंड वेरी डेंस फॉरेस्ट आर देयर. सो दैट रिमेन्स एन इशू व्हेन इट कम्स टू द बॉर्डर ऑफ Myanmar. These are the major issues when it comes to the diverse geography and hostile neighborhood. Let's see some of the ways in which answer can be presented. Impact of hostile neighborhood in security, threat to national security. Economic impact is there, frequent border tension, internal security challenges, reshaping geopolitical alignment. अंदर इन्होंने उतना अच्छा, इन्होंने अभी नेक्स्ट पार्ट में बताएंगे ज्योग्राफी के बारे में. अंदर एग्जांपल क्या दिए हैं? क्रॉस बॉर्डर टेररिज्म, इंसर्जेंसी, सेपरेटिस्ट मूवमेंट. ओवरऑल द प्रेजेंटेशन इज आल्सो डिसेंट, इट लुक्स गुड. इम्पैक्ट ऑफ डाइवर्स ज्योग्राफिकल टेरेन्स. illegal migration is happening because of Nepal border, Myanmar region. Natural barriers such as Himalaya, climatic challenges because of the desert, resource allocation, logistical challenges because of the high altitude mountain warfare. overall the diversity of points is good. Hostile neighbors, tension and conflict बढ़ेगा, skirmishes, infiltration points सब देख लिए हमने. Cross border terrorism बढ़ेगा, insurgency बढ़ेगी. This is a very very good point, very unique point actually, that how espionage and intelligence gathering is one of the issues when it comes to the hostile neighborhood. Okay, we have to include that. Then arms race and militarization is there, good point. Difficult terrain, climate extremes are there, remote locations are there. And यहाँ पे इन्होंने examples क्या दिए हैं, जैसे सियाचिन ग्लेशियर. Dense forests are there when it comes to the northeast India. Remote locations में लद्दाख. So take the example of region plus country, है ना? This is a good approach. Hostile neighborhood में Indo-Pakistan, how 2008 Mumbai attacks, 2019 Pulwama attacks, India-China relation, Galwan Valley का example दिया है. India-Nepal, how human trafficking is there. All these issues we have discussed in detail. We are just looking at the presentation now. Geographical में mountainous, plains and plateaus, desert region, coastal areas. So coastal areas with Sri Lanka, with Maldives and others. डेजर्ट रीजन में आप देखेंगे राजस्थान के साथ पाकिस्तान का जो बॉर्डर है. प्लेन्स एंड प्लेटूज में आप देखेंगे चाइना इज वन ऑफ द इश्यूज व्हेन इट कम्स टू द प्लेटूज. तिब्बत प्लेटू के जस्ट बगल में अपन लोग. माउंटेनियस रीजन्स पूरे ऊपर वाले नॉर्थ वाले कंट्रीज. सो व्हाट यू हैव टू लुक इन दीज कॉपीज इज दैट हाउ यू प्रेजेंट द इंफॉर्मेशन. वी कैन ब्रेनस्टॉर्म the answer in the starting, but towards the end of the session I want you to learn from these good copies so that you can see that how we can present the answer in a very crisp manner. Okay, one thing that is missing in all these answers is that they have not really given a way forward, and way forward देना बिल्कुल बनता है. अब वे फॉरवर्ड देना कैसे बनता है कि आप पूरा एक बहुत बड़ा पार्ट नहीं दे पाएंगे, बट आप कंक्लूजन में कुछ ना कुछ लिखिए वे फॉरवर्ड के लिए. जैसे यू कैन टेल दैट हाउ इंडिया इज डेवलपिंग कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव इंटीग्रेटेड बॉर्डर मैनेजमेंट सिस्टम, है ना. बॉर्डर मैनेजमेंट के लिए कमिटी भी है, शेखटकर कमिटी. पढ़िएगा इसके बारे में, आप ये यूज कर सकते हैं, इनके रिकमेंडेशंस यूज कर सकते हैं आप. एक और भी कमिटी थी, गाडबोले कमिटी. These two committees can be used when it comes to the border area security. Okay. Then how we are developing vibrant village program. How we are using bold QIT. What is bold QIT? We are using modern surveillance. We are using modern radars and sensors. Wherever we cannot make a fence on the borders, we are using modern sensors and radars to check the movement. है ना? So there is thermal imaging. There are radars. There are sensors. So these kind of measures can be taken. है ना? तो थोड़ा सा एक दो तीन लाइन में आप वे फॉरवर्ड भी दीजिए कि इंडिया क्या कर रहा है अपने नेबरहुड और अपने इन सबको ठीक करने के लिए. राइट. So I hope that the session has given you a comprehensive outlook on how you can address the border areas in your answer. Make sure that you draw a map. Make sure that you cover the maritime as well as the territorial issues. Look at the issues in a comprehensive manner and also use these kind of committees and certain good conclusions, value additions in your conclusion. Okay. So that's it for this session, and we are moving towards the end of the year. आई होप कि आप लोग प्रीलिम्स के साथ साथ अपनी मेंस की भी प्रिपरेशन करते रहें, बिकॉज प्रीलिम्स का क्या है कि आप कितना भी पढ़ लीजिए, इट विल नेवर बी इनफ, है ना. आई विल गिव यू अ स्मॉल फिलोसफी दैट प्रीलिम्स में 3 months 3 months is the ideal time that you should give for preparation of prelims. 3 महीने के बाद आप चाहे इसको 4 मंथ कर दीजिए, चाहे 6 मंथ कर दीजिए, चाहे 1 साल कर दीजिए, देर विल बी नो सिग्निफिकेंट एडिशन यू विल गेट, है ना. स्पेशली दोज हु हैव फेल्ड द प्रीलिम्स अर्लियर, डू नॉट गिव मोर देन 3 months यार. अगर मई में पेपर है तो फेब्रवरी, मार्च, अप्रैल, दिस इज इनफ. मेंस को मई को नहीं गिनेंगे क्योंकि 25-26 मई को तो पेपर ही है. सो जनवरी भी, अभी नेक्स्ट मंथ भी अपनी मेंस प्रिपरेशन को चलाकर रखिएगा. ऑप्शनल या फिर कुछ ऐसे सब्जेक्ट्स या एथिक्स या फिर इंटर्न, जो भी आपके मेंस एक्सक्लूसिव सब्जेक्ट्स हैं, डू रीड इट. अगर प्योरली प्रीलिम्स बेस्ड प्रिपरेशन पर आ जाओगे, सिर्फ करंट अफेयर पढ़ते रहोगे, तो प्रीलिम्स के बाद मेंस का गियर शिफ्ट करने में दिक्कत होगा. And ultimately the exam is about mains. Okay, always remember that it will be mains that will make you an IAS, not just your prelims. Though prelims will give you a ticket to sit in the mains. That is the only role of prelims. Okay, so all the best to you, and we will meet again tomorrow. Okay, goodbye and take care.